Good afternoon, dear friends. Let's talk a little bit about karma. How does it influence the formation of reality? How does it fit into the reality, and what is the fate line of a person? Speaking the language of our consciousness. If we reach out of our consciousness and bring it up to the surface. So in our subconsciousness there are No, let's better begin from another thing. What is soul? What is structure? The soul has a part that refers to another metric structure, and it has a higher self. A higher self has such function. It creates such bubbles. It does it even before a person comes to life. A person's subconsciousness is created, and it includes these energy bubbles, which contain energy plus information. And in fact, for us, these are resource traumas. And the higher self controls the energy charging of these bubbles. This is its function. And it transfers this information back to the soul, what has been worked through and what hasn't. So based on this, soul creates a scenario of life. So a person will have some worldview, and according to the scenario, the first resource trauma forms a particular event line. Some experience is gained according to this scenario. It is fixated and turns to the soul in the form of the information about gained experience. Then one resource trauma finishes and another experience begins, then the third one, and so on. That's how the whole destiny of a person is written down. But the person is supposed to have a choice. And besides the person working through this experience, also he adds his personal emotional inclusions, depending on his conditions. He adds his own part, saying, update this scenario, also with this experience I want to work it through. Like this and like that, here we will make it more difficult, here more easy, and all the person's choice consists of the way he will update already existing fate scenario, so-called choice point. And it turns out that in fact our soul sees the worldview. This is the worldview we observe, the image of the reality, or a storyline of a movie. Which we call life. It turns out that a soul creates it through these resource traumas. So in the public control room, the director has an energy resource. It is acted out, it is lived through. A movie called Life is produced due to this money, due to this resource, and the soul is having fun providing a particular scenario. And to connect these energy bubbles somehow with the physical body, as they are not connected, a person has a DNA structure, and DNA includes particular ident marks, informational marks. And when a person is in his perinatal period, when his body is developing, each of these DNA ident marks are connected with one of these stories, which is going to form this scenario in future. That these main traumatic scenarios are linked to the informational marks in DNA. But there are also some additional scenarios which a person gained during his life, and there is a compound his karma or leave it, changing the story time of his movie. When the mark is worked through, the karma would finish, a person would gain some experience, and he would report this experience to his soul, full circle. That's how karma approximately looks from the point of view of our subconsciousness. And though this topic was relevant and had begun to be acknowledged already at this close of the past century, different theories had appeared of the variants of reaching these informational marks, which were discovered just recently, in the 1914 or 1912, I don't remember for sure. You can check it in the internet. They have been officially proved and referred to epigenetics. There are different types of epigenetic marks and so on. But now we are interested not in the chemistry of the body, but in the work with these marks. These marks on the DNA level contain all the information, all the unconsciousness life scenario, the whole destiny. Then what will happen if we acknowledge all these marks and clothe them on the DNA level? In fact, it means that we will cancel this whole scenario, and instead We will receive all this energy, form a huge resource out of it, and it will be our own life scenario. That is, we tell the God, we begin our conscious life. I don't need traumatic karma. I want to set my own rules. I want to create my own game. And in my game, I want to have my own reality. That kind of reality Wolf Mason was talking about. So to make this possible, we need somehow to wipe out these marks. And these marks, please know this, about some serious accidents, grave diseases, about something else, about the trash that occurs in life. And we already know that they have been created during perinatal period, and how do we get them informational? And so there were some very smart people who figured out that if we take the main traumas and overlay a metaphor is clear for our consciousness and for our mind program and for our feelings. For example, metaphor of birth, of refecundation, of ovum and sperm cell, of reliving the whole traumatic experience of the perinatal period until the birth. Then the main part of these marks would be wiped out. Besides, the scientists have discovered that the main points which contain the information about reflexive reactions of a person and consequently the karmic information which are related, that there are 7 of such points in general. That's about the powerful points. And if we regard all of them, there will be 22 or 24 of them. But if we overlay a metaphor and wipe out these things, then a trash will begin in a person's life. That is, we've declared to the God and gathered the funding for our totally conscious scenario, and this scenario will totally align with the soul's game plan. And it won't be a karmic game plan, as we have wiped out everything. That is, the soul gained an incredible amount of development resources. A quantum leap in development occurs, and it moves toward the higher frequencies. That's why I have drawn it up here. The frequencies are very high. As a new scenario is created in joy and love, happiness, a person is able to create a new life for him. It's mind-blowing, but this is already his conscious choice. And when a person begins to deal with such techniques, and there are already such techniques, I'm telling you this for a good reason, as starting on 29th, we have the tasks for our circle program. Be attentive, particularly at our circle. We want to start this topic, and it is huge. We have already watched it through, how it would be realized, which result the people would have, those who would get in, and no random people would get there. We have already watched this all through ahead of time, and we have structured everything we know about building up the reality. I won't tell you everything right now, but the point is that the person who takes this transformational course triggers off a real trash in his life. This trash will last up to 1 month, but the first week will be the most difficult. What will this trash include? A person's image of reality will be changing completely according to the soul's game plan. A consciousness development without the soul. If a person used to work at his least favorite job, he will need to organize his image of reality in such a way that he finds a job that he really loves and enjoys. If he used to have a certain type of relationship in his family and behave in a particular way, then his relationship will change the way his soul wants. If he used to be in a particular state of health, then his soul will change the way his soul needs, and so on. And incredibly magic things begin to occur here. But at first, a person goes through a very emotional thing. And after this, there is no way to get back to these traumas or to create new ones. That is to say, I'm going to practice this for a while and then I will get back to my previous scenario. There is no way back, my friends. Our subconsciousness, or it's better to say its part, a higher self, has a corresponding ego and mind programs according to these traumas. And these programs of ego and mind are also changing according to this experience. And here we are going to take all this experience by whole self, and this experience will rise up quickly in the consciousness, and the ego and mind will get 10 times stronger. And this means that they will create quite a trash in life, but we still have a higher self. It won't escape anywhere. If we are not able to fulfill our new scenario, then a higher self will create new resource traumas. It will get the energy from another matrix level, and the higher self has a lot of resource at its disposal. And I know it knows very well what to do. But in this case, these resource traumas will be different, and in any case scenario, an event line will be already different. And if we look at a person before such transformational thing, then he will have 1, 2, or 3 variants of case scenarios in life, so-called destiny or karma. Then after this training, it will turn out that there is no destiny or karma. No, they will remain, but it will turn out that there are dozens and hundreds of the variants of case scenario in life, and a person, will or not, will have to turn his brain to observe from the perspective of his subconsciousness what comes to his life. And in this case, he won't be able to get rid of responsibility, because there will be a total comprehension that this is your image of reality, my friend. It is created in your mind. And I don't know how clearly I was able to explain this, but if you have a request, if you are ready to change consciously your scenario of life, for example, to change your relationship if you are not comfortable with that, to change your health, to change your life, maybe to find inner resources, to finally start showing up your artistic talents and to hear your soul. For those who want to practice info diving, this is all in all an obligatory program, because it removes an incredible amount of rubbish out of our psyche, and it simply provides the direct connection with your soul. And it is exactly where do we get the information from as we are reaching our soul. So we are going to organize a circle which lasts 28 or 32 hours, and in this circle we are going to bring up all the fixed points, all the karmic moments which people have. How do I know it will work? Because I have already looked through this, and I know that all people have identical programs, and they are all connected with the collective programs, because they participate in creating a collective reality. And we are going to uninstall all this collective, and you will or not will have to create your individual and to display your individual abilities, those which are truly divine and unique. So we will remove all the trash. We will use magic, we will use the resources which you keep inside, we will use mysticism. In fact, there will be a lot of mysticism. And during the work, you will have an opportunity to learn, correct, and listen to your soul. Both me and Andrew are going to help you with this. We will make corrections, help to hear, and create such moments which will truly help to hear, and those moments which will help people to come flying out very quickly, to hear themselves as much as they could. I don't know whether everyone will get it right or not, but there will be also people who will succeed in info diving. There is nothing terrifying about this, because on one hand, there will be an additional support field, and on the other hand, all the resource states connected with the soul will be activated. In this case, we are going to act only within a soul. Neither one step left nor one step aside, everything in accordance with a person's soul. You can take part in this course online. We run this course for the first time. It is an experimental one. This course is on epigenetics. You can take part in an online course, and as well as you can join a live course. We will anyway gather a team, and the process will be synchronized. Live classes will be at our office. It will be a small group. We can invite only up to 10 people. And this will cost more than for the online participants. You can join online course. You can get the results in both groups. The effect will be great. The main thing is to make a conscious decision. We will save a video record of this course. We are trying to keep video courses for the Russian-speaking audience. If you have a wish to join us and to take this train, either online or live, please call us, join us. This course starts on the 29th. We will take some other experiments within this course, but this offer is only for those people who will be at this course. I have described you the main points. You have something to think about, there is no fear about it. The work is standard. Of course, there will be this whole crying thing, you will laugh that much. We will laugh loudly all the time because we will need to transform all the higher frequency resources, and this all comes through laughing. Because do you know why do we laugh that much? In fact, our mind is designed in a very interesting way. Do you know what is the difference between it and digital intelligence? Digital intelligence, if we bring it to paradox, it will get stuck and it won't be able to provide an original decision. And the human brain perceives laughter as a paradox. And when the mind finds itself in a paradoxical state, which it is not able to explain, it extends quickly. It has this option. And the range of its abilities also extend. The abilities to see, to hear, to invent, it is absolutely ready to connect with the God, to connect with this soul. We can say to connect with the supreme intelligence, but we should understand that we are part of this supreme intelligence, okay? So to connect with ourselves. There is something to think about, there is something to meditate about. I'm Natalia Zaitseva. See you soon, my friends.